Welcome, Modern Talkers. This is Modern Talk. Modern Talk. Why? Do you hear that? I think it should be my new song. Because I'm talking to someone right now. His name is Jack Jeter. Hopefully he comes through with it. Because we talked about it yesterday. And I'm going to finally make an intro / outro song for the podcast. I've wanted this since the beginning, but I was like, is it necessary? You know, this way I could use my music that I like that I could just put in there, and I don't make money from this, so I won't get flagged or anything. But now that I'm doing a video podcast, I just want to up my game as much as I can. I talked about that a few In Touch with Tommies ago, back when it wasn't this yet. And I still want to shout out to people who are listening on only audio, because I was really against audio plus video for podcasts, because I was like a purist about it, and that's just what I thought. And I liked that I could listen to it and do other stuff, but video podcasts you have to just watch and pay attention to the whole time. You could kind of do other stuff a little bit, but not too much, because you're like, well, I'm watching it, so I should watch it. So I want to be respectful to the people that are also there, who's me from a couple years ago or whatever, that are still purists, that are listening to just the audio, that are, maybe just busy people and don't care about the purity of the medium, which is cool. I don't care. Do what you do. I'm really grateful I have this setup, and I might have to cut this one short, even though I feel like I have a lot to talk about, because the guy might come, so whenever he comes I'll have to stop, but maybe I'll pick it up after, depending on what he's doing, because if he stays here it's going to be awkward for me to do it with him here. I'm grateful for this setup, that I have these things that I get to use. I don't have to pay for them, and they're not being used otherwise, so I'm actually upping their value. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm getting more use out of them, which is always good. I don't like to waste stuff, so really I'm giving back to the planet, getting use out of these plastic material, whatever these are. I want to talk about, I was really productive this last week, and I was in the office a lot. I don't think I even talked about that. So I share an office with someone that I met through a entrepreneurial meeting. You have to go to this meeting every week, and they couldn't go, so they asked me to go on their behalf. And so I met this other guy who liked me, I guess, and is trying to get me to work for him, but he's not doing a good job, because he said he hates it, which is great because he was honest, and I really appreciate that. But I think he's trying to coerce me into working for him somehow, some way, which I'm not super opposed to at some capacity, but I don't think based on what he said, I don't want to do it. But for some reason, he's like, kind of with the lights and the setup here, I don't use my office almost at all, and do you need an office? And I was like, yeah, because I spend money at, coffee shops, because they have free Wi-Fi and good vibes. So I spend $5 every day to work there for a coffee or whatever. So I think that's something that I just needed to do as like a business expense in a way, to allow me to office there. But so this guy's letting me use his office, which is crazy. And it helps me be really productive because I'm intentional with what I do, and I drive there obviously, and so once I'm there I have to do something, and a lot of it is looking at Twitter and stuff like that, but that's part of it. That's part of the process, I think, and eventually I'll get better at it, but and it's not like I do that all the time, but it devolves into that sometimes, or it starts off slow, but then I get it rolling, and then it's popping, and then that's way more than I would have done in just at home, because at home has everything that I want to do, like eat, chill, and watch something. So yeah, I love having the office. I'm super appreciative of that too. I'm trying to just be more grateful in general. You learn these things and then you forget, and then you're like, oh yeah, why did I stop doing that? Why is that not something that I kept regular or whatever? Because at one point you're like, well, I'm staying grateful, so I don't need to remind myself that I'm grateful, and then stuff happens, and then you slowly go down that mountain of ungratefulness, and I'm trying to find it inside of me to see what I take for granted and what I shouldn't take for granted, and be grateful for. So this past week I was at the pool house that I think I talked about it last week, because I was in it then, and it was super productive. It was beautiful. I had the perfect balanced day, and I want to tell you guys about that. So I got up at 6:30 or whatever, and I'm really enjoying telling the story. I hope I have enough time for everything. So I got up at 6:30. I petted the dog. He's really cute. He's huge, but his nickname is Moose. He's a lab and a Rottweiler, I think. But he's so sweet. It's crazy. And so he sleeps on the floor next to the bed in the room, and so when I get up he comes over and like wants pets, so I pet him, and so then I get to the office, and I think I eat something there, like a small like little cracker thingy thing that's like not too heavy or anything, and then I start working until noonish, and then I go back to the house, the pool house, and then I ate these homemade carnitas that the people that I'm staying in, their daughter made, and she left it there for me, which was really sweet. So I ate that like all week. The meat was so good. It was so flavorful, and they're Puerto Rican, so they know how to do it, and so I made a carnita, and I ate it and watched Lifeline, the new podcast with Krista Lee. I think I might have dropped that last episode. Check that out, it's really good. And then I tanned for an hour, and it was so hot that whole week, and it's still pretty hot. It's still really hot. But so the pool was 94 degrees, so it wasn't enjoyable. So I didn't go in the pool much. So then I took a shower after I tanned, and then I went back to work, and then I was productive until 6-ish, and then I sat and watched, I think, Stranger Things until I was ready for bed, and then I went to bed, and that was the perfect day. The only thing I didn't do was kind of exercise, which I haven't really been doing anyway, but I got the outdoors, I got some vitamin D, I got a lot of work done. I took care of my assignments at the house, like petting the dog, and ate homemade food, and I might have got takeout for dinner. I forgot to mention that. So I ate that while I watched Stranger Things at night and stuff. So so that was the perfect day, and I want to get as close to that as I can. Pretty much every day I'm available to do that. So leave in the comments like what your perfect day would consist of. I'm interested, because everyone obviously has different ideas of their perfect day. And I remember in youth group when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, they asked this question for some reason. It probably was like, oh, and then, that's what it's like, but way better in heaven. That's probably what the lesson was. But I remember I woke up, I said, I'd probably wake up and play COD. And then this was like, I didn't play Call of Duty that much, but I guess that was during my phase of Call of Duty. It got like too intense and stuff for me to do for long periods of time. But anyway, so I remember saying that, and then one of the girls like passively aggressively said, I hate when people just call it COD, like just call it Call of Duty. And I was like, well, obviously you're calling me out, because she was older too. I think she was in high school. So I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay. Like, obviously you're calling me out, but I can't say anything because it's youth group, and I wouldn't have the courage to say it anyway, because it's scary for confrontation, and also you're older, and also you're a girl. So a little bit of a power dynamic against me here, so you should feel bad for me. No. And I forgot to tell you guys, I forgot that I told you about it in general, but I was listening back, I'm editing previous podcast, and I didn't realize I talked about the film group that I was part of, and so they broke up with me shortly after my ex broke up with me. Well, my girlfriend broke up with me. She wasn't my ex when she broke up with me, because that would be weird to break up with someone after you're already ex. So at the time she was my girlfriend. But yeah, it was like 2 weeks after. Like there's a story and nuance to the story and stuff, but basically they didn't really say much. They were just like, yeah, we're gonna go a different way or something. And I was like, well, because I'm, your boy's a director, so he gets into the motion of a scene and tries to, let the actors find their truth and all that stuff. But what they were doing was like commercial stuff, and wasn't a lot of emotion to it. And if they needed it, it was like, it's kind of not really important as long as it looks good. Just make some faces. That was kind of their feel for it, and it's working for them, so who cares? And so I said kind of like that. I was like, well, I know that my strengths and the company's needs never really lined up, but I don't know why you feel the need to make it finalized, and why now? So, and I said, you don't have to respond to this because I respect your decision, whatever you want to do, but this is just my thoughts. And then he hasn't responded to me, so and it's been like almost a month, I think, at this point, at least 3 weeks. So I don't think he's planning on doing that, which is fine. And as you know, we need to talk about kickball because that happened last night. And so it was playoffs, actually. So I think everyone makes the playoffs, but we were the number 7 seed out of 7. And the first team gets a bye, so we were playing the best team available. And so we were 7 and they were 2. And so obviously no one really expects us to win. And I told them that. I was like, hey, we got the best team. Let's mess up this bracket. Let's mess them up. And they're like, oh yeah, let's go, okay. And I think you'll recall that our team has been not cohesive as we'd like to be. And so at one point we had like a huge meltdown in the field because we didn't communicate well, and then we yelled at each other when we did poorly, and then that just became we have a lot of hot heads on our team. Yeah, three like really explosive, quick to detonate hotheads. And at one point, what I would consider the hottest head was like, all right, well, we need to he was like, okay, it's over, we need to get back to. And I was like, wow, it's bad when he's the one that's trying to diffuse the situation. So yeah, it was really bad, and we let like 5 runs in, probably at least. It was terrible. And so dang it, I really played well, and I liked how we all played in general, but there are definitely some times I'm like, man, if that just would have happened. A couple of times in the outfield, the ball got past them, which just shouldn't happen. Just like straight up shouldn't happen. Like once in a game, it's like, okay. And then, sometimes you misjudge it, and the wind was crazy, and the ball was different. We never played with that ball. It was smaller and like more compact, like a tighter ball. Like it wasn't like kind of loose like the other ones were. The Transformers are fighting, and and so I guess it was harder for them to catch. And I even missed a pop fly. It wasn't an easy catch, but I still missed it, and I should have got it. But it was a good time, because after that inning, we fought a little bit more, and then I even, your boys that doesn't like conflict, and he's a moderator, so I even touched like 2 people, and we're like, hey, let's blah blah blah. I don't remember what I said, but which is like big for me because I don't like touching people, and I don't like people touching me, but it was that bad, and I felt like I'm a leader in the group, and they needed me to step up, because it was just like pure chaos, and I yelled yelled like nice things, like, okay, it's over, you can't yell at each other, like someone has to stop yelling for the yelling to stop, because one was like, well, they're just yelling at me, so I'm yelling back. And then, obviously the logical thing is like, oh, you're just going to yell the rest of your lives? So I touched them and was like, okay, here's a solution. Because the one needed, the sun was really in their face, which it was in my face too, but she's older, so I guess, I don't know, that was her excuse. But so someone else was willing to switch with her so she wasn't in the sun. And I was like, here's the solution, like, let's all listen. And so I'm surprised and pleased with myself that happened. And it didn't really work, but but I'm glad that I did that, and I know I have that in me now. And So yeah, so so after that, during that, we're kicking. So we're on the dugout, but there's one of us is kicking, and they kicked a really good one, and I think it might have even been an inside the park home run. So so that like kind of like distracted us and united us. So after that, we're like, okay, reset button. The moon was out, I noticed, and it was at like 6, so it was still like really sunny. It was sunny enough to be in the girl's face. But I was like, all right, the moon's out. Everyone pray to the moon wizard, and just to keep it light and being like, oh yeah, you like that's a thing that you could say and like just be silly about. Let's not like take this so seriously. So I also think I upped the energy of the other team at one point because one of our guys overran the base. Well, he intentionally was gonna go home, but he realized he was gonna get out, so he got stuck in the middle. And I was like, and he got out, and I was like, that's okay, he's hungry, this is playoffs, baby. And I said that like unintentionally near the, hey, just my OnlyFans. Hey, sorry guys, I just had a client. Just kidding. I was just call back to the OnlyFans thing I said. So I was thinking about kickball, I think. This feels far away. Is it far away? Okay, I'll punch it in. Yeah, so we had the reset button, and then the next inning, we were out in the field, and I think it was a 1-2-3 deal. So we got them all out, and then and then we had another inning where they did really well, and it wasn't as much of a we did bad, but they just played well, and there's nothing, you can't really get too mad about that, because when it's on you, you could do something about it. Am I missing one still? So we hit the reset button, but when you do bad, that's annoying, because then that's in your control. And so that's where we didn't we did well, but they just played better, and that's just something you have to be cool with. And then it was the last inning, and we were up first, and we were down by 3, so we needed 3 runs to extend the game at least. We ended up scoring so much that we were now up by 4, and all we had to do was just get 3 outs, and then it was over. But it's always not as cut and dry as we did bad, they did good. But this was kind of both. We were kind of being aggressive in the outfield, which I like, because it's playoffs. You gotta, lay it all out on the line. But again, it went past them a couple of times, and so that was obviously detrimental to it. And they ended up scoring 5 runs, 1 more than we had, thus being a walk-off home run. And so that didn't feel good. And like this and this, that's what happens when you play ball, baby. But I was really proud of us that we were resilient, and that we hit the reset button, and then we did better, but we still ended up down by 1, or down by 3, and then we were up by 4, and then that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that's why they were ranked better than us, I guess. I think we had one too many weak links, and if we had someone decent at one of those positions, I think we could have won. But that's how it is. And speaking of this, I want to talk about how I dress now, because I dress differently, and I feel like I should have addressed it already, because the last couple I've been wearing fun stuff. And that's it. When I turn 25, for some reason, I almost never feel different for, birthdays or kind of anything. It's more of a slow thing for me. I don't know if that's my personality or just how it is. I felt like I needed to be more fun looking. And I live at the beach, so it's like that's what I should look like. Beach people wear fun, like Hawaiian shirts kind of thing like this. This isn't really Hawaiian, but it's fun, funky, groovy even maybe. Because it's like wavy. So I just wanted to address that. I don't know what else to say about it, I guess. But it was like kind of a whole wardrobe thing, because then you had to have, solid color, fun pants to wear that matched your fun shirt, in not a crazy way. But you could also be crazy if you want to. But before, I would almost exclusively wear black shirt and gray shorts, and that was it. And it was kind of my style of being styleless. I was stylish by being styleless. That was my style. And I like that because I didn't have to think about what I was going to wear. And I know I've talked about this on other podcasts. It's like, oh, what do I wear? Do I feel like this day? I have this going on later, so I can't wear that, or I should wear this. But it's like, no, I only wear this, so this is what I am all the time, so you can't get mad at what I am. Because this is always what I am. So I think that's also a good lesson to be, as you're emotionally and how you project yourself, is like, this is who I am, so you can't get mad, like accept me or move on. So I think that's all I wanted to say this week. I'm sure there's always some more stuff that I forget about, but I've been thinking about, or I've been like hit with that inspiration a lot more, like comedy wise, which is great, and I don't know why that's happening. I'd like to think it's because I'm waking up and more focused on that kind of stuff, and putting in the work and the time at the office and all that stuff, and that's kind of keeping me focused and like my third eye open, or whatever you want to say, just keep your third eye less squinty, and that's what it is. That's it. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and like and subscribe. You know the deal. You know what to do. You've seen my podcast, you've seen other people's podcasts. They all say the same thing. Do it, please, if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope this made you think, and keep in touch.
Welcome, Modern Talk. This is Modern Talk. Modern Talk. I hope this made you think. Why? How?
Dad?